Hi again, Mark here from Talking Bass. Today I'm going to give you a quick tip on something that I hear bass players complaining about time and time again. The stretch or hand size required for playing a regular long scale bass. In this lesson I'm going to show you that not only do you not require large hands, for 99% of lines, you actually don't need to stretch the hands out at all. As always, tab and sheet music is all there over at talkingbass.net. Just click that link in the info below. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Then sign up to the Talking Bass website for free to gain access to the members area, where you'll find a ton of practice resources and downloads, as well as the forums, groups, and other social networking features where you can mix with over 100,000 other bass players all walking the same bass path as you. Okay, so I'm here to tell you that for most music, you don't really need to be stretching the fingers at all. If you have super large hands, then fine, you can just make use of the gifts that God gave you. But even then, for 99% of lines that you play, there's no point in stretching. What you should be focusing on is your overall technique. You want to make use of micro-shifting, pivoting of the thumb, all while ensuring complete note duration. So let's take an F natural minor scale as an example, starting down here at the first fret of the E string. So in terms of the notes, we have F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, and F. So that's first, third, fourth frets on the E and A strings, and then the first and third frets on the D string. And in terms of the fingering, I'm using 1, 3, 4, so first, third, and fourth fingers for the E and A strings, and then first and third finger for the D string. Now, as I just described, the most efficient fingering for that scale is by way of a 1 finger per fret assignment. So the first finger takes the first fret, second finger takes the second fret, and so on. And the temptation is to think that you need to stretch your fingers out to hold that position as you play the line, like this. So you're holding that first finger there over that first fret and just working up through it. But watch how I actually play this. So I'm keeping the hand totally relaxed and holding it loosely there over roughly a 3 fret distance, and then just shifting the hand slightly as I play each note. So I'm not stretching it out at all. So let's just start with the first 2 notes. I'm going to place the thumb in the back of the neck, put the hand in a good starting position using the fourth finger, or the pinky, as a guide. So with a little curl in the fingers, you should be able to pivot round so that all of those fingers are lined up over the E string. No stretching, just laid there over whatever distance your hand size provides. So for me there, the first finger's over the first fret, and the fourth finger is roughly over the third fret. And you'll need to pivot round because many people might hold the hand naturally with the fingers pointing towards them, like towards their head. So you bring the fourth finger round as your guide so that the fourth finger is parallel with the frets. Okay, so that's the starting position. Next, play the F and then use a little shift in the hand and thumb in order to play the G. And when I do that, you can see there that the first and second fingers are pretty much over that second fret area there. So I'm not holding the first finger down there over the first fret, they're just trailing behind there, behind that third finger. So just that small move there. Then, holding that position there, you can just bring the pinky, the fourth finger, down onto the A flat at the fourth fret. Then, moving to the B flat, just pivot the thumb slightly to bring the hand back down to catch that B flat. Again, shift up for the C, bring the fourth finger down for the D flat, shift down again with that little pivot and the micro shift down to the E flat, and then shift up slightly for the third fret. So each time, we're just making these small micro shifts in order to play each note in turn. So that's micro shifting. The next thing to focus on is the note duration. We want each note to lead fluidly into the next. So we don't want this. We don't want any gaps in there. We want this. Each note leads smoothly and fluidly into the next one. The key to full note duration is to avoid the shifting until the next note is required. So one way to practice this is to play that scale as half notes. So we're going to be playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So when we play the F, we then don't move until 3. So 1, 2, holding that finger there, 1, 2, 3. I'm shifting on 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, from the A flat to the B flat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving on 3. So try moving up and down through the scale in this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Once you feel confident with those slow half notes, you can just build up speed to any rhythm. So we can just work up and down. Aiming for that fluidity. So, as you can see, you don't need huge hands or an Allen Holdsworth stretch to play lines in that lower register. As an extreme example, I could play that same F minor scale, keeping my fingers locked together as if I have a very small hand, still using that same fingering, and as long as the note duration is good, everything's going to be fine. We can also expand on that F minor scale by working up through 2 octaves, allowing us to bring more position shifts into play and again, more practice at that full note duration. So again, we're working up through that same F minor scale. But then when we get up to the E flat there at the 1st fret of the D string, we shift up with the 1st finger to the F at the 3rd fret, and then we continue F, G, A flat, so 3rd, 5th and 6th frets there on the D string, then make this large position shift to the B flat there with the 1st finger, and then C, D flat, E flat, F. Okay, so up here we're at the 8th fret, 10th fret and the 11th fret, and then we've got the 8th fret and 10th fret up on the top. So always focusing on keeping that fluidity and that full note duration. If you have any problems with the position shift at that A flat to the B flat, you can just isolate the move. So there we're on the 4th finger for the 6th fret there on the D string, and then we're shifting to the 1st fret there at the 8th fret. So just practice moving between those 2 notes until you've got that fluidity. So as another example, let's take a look at some wider thumb pivoting with this line. So here I'm playing C, D, E, D, just round and round, 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret on the G string. And here I'm using the 1st finger, 2nd finger and 4th finger. Now, that would be a fairly large stretch for most people. You know, if you're going to hold each one of those notes down, I can just about make that. But I probably never would, because you can just use the thumb pivot here. So I've got the thumb there in the back of the neck, roughly around the 6th or 7th frets. I've got that 1st finger there at the 5th fret of the G string. When I move to the D, I just move in this arc as I pivot the thumb around. So there's the D, and then pivot the thumb more to play the E there with the 4th finger. And again, the key to this is full note duration. I'm not moving until the note is required. So with the half notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just build up speed. Aiming for consistency in that duration. As a more extreme example, you could take that same line and just move it all the way down to the 1st fret of the G string, playing A flat, B flat and C. So 1st fret, 3rd fret and 5th fret. Again, a large stretch there if you want to hold all the notes down, but using the thumb pivoting, it should be okay. So again, I've got the thumb there in the back, roughly around the 3rd fret. Now, these are obviously extreme cases that you won't encounter too often, but they're also demonstrations of the fact that you don't need to stretch the fingers out to play most bass lines, even if they look wide-ranging on first appearance. So let's finish with an example line from the upcoming Technique Builder course over at Talking Bass. There's a lesson devoted to wider-ranging lines where I delve a little deeper into the topics covered here, and in the second module, containing 60 technical etudes, you'll find a section devoted to the same seemingly wide-stretched lines. So the line sounds like this. So the line is in E Dorian and makes use of some stacked fifth intervals that are really going to push you in terms of your thumb pivoting and microshifts. So we begin with this line. So we have G, D, A, and then D, A, E. So 3rd fret E string, 5th fret on the A string, and 7th fret on the D string. Then we play D, A, E, 5th fret A string, 7th fret on the D string, and 9th fret on the G string. So again, if you were to try and hold that position there, it's going to be a pretty hard stretch. But if you start with the first finger there and then just with a bit of thumb movement and microshifting, we can take the D there on the A string with the 2nd finger. And then we just shift a little bit more to play the A with the 4th finger. So it's all in the movement of the hand. Again, aiming for the note duration. So don't move to the D until it's required. Then the same thing again on that top line. Next, we have this fairly simple major 6th interval from C sharp down to the E, so no real problems there. 6th fret G string down to 7th fret A string. And then we finish off with this line where we have F sharp, then A, G, so that's 9th fret A string, then the 7th and 5th frets on the D string, then we drop down with the -6 down to the B, 7th fret on the E string, up to the F sharp again at the 9th fret of the A string, and this will require more movement. So this again would be a fairly large stretch there. So with a little bit of thumb pivoting, we come down, we've got the thumb roughly around the 7th fret, I can just play that F sharp there, then shift down with the thumb pivot down to the A and the G, pivot back up with the thumb. It's all in this action here, down to the B and up to the F sharp. So the thumb doesn't move at all there. It's just, in terms of moving up and down the neck, it's all in the pivot. We're not shifting position. So all of that line. So obviously you want to start out really slow, focusing on the note duration and the shifting, and then just build up speed. Then if you want a little bit of a bigger test, you can move all of that down a whole step, so we start on the F. So this is going to be in D Dorian, we start with the F and then we come up. So a little bit of a wider stretch there, so you're going to have to do a lot more thumb movement. But with a little practice, you should be able to get that down. So there you go. Don't worry too much about having small hands or a seemingly less than adequate stretch. When you're moving around in that lower register of the bass, it can feel like you're fighting the instrument and as if, everything would be so much easier with shack-size hands. But the truth is that most players don't stretch. They move. And the key to making that work is good technique and a keen awareness of note duration. Okay, so that's stretching. Remember, the lesson material is all there over at Talking Bass. Just click the link in the info below. The Technique Builder course will be released next week, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and sign up to the Talking Bass network and membership to receive all the latest updates while gaining access to a massive community of like-minded bass players and a ton of bass practice resources and downloads. Okay, I'll see you next week.